time, yeah.
Hey, Chino, put my headphones up, bro. You're right there. Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta show, come have a good time. It's the hottest show around, we ain't gotta flex. Call up G, we get it done, we earning our respect. Tell recruits to let us in, where they going next. Throw up the L's, now we lit, band playing neck. From the boot to the east to the west coast. No matter where we at, we live, mic'd up for show. Open up the phone lines, come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta show, yeah. Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta show, come have a good time. Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta show, come have a good time, yeah. Hey, Chino, put my headphones up, bro. You're right there.
All right, welcome in and good morning here on this Monday, this fresh new week. As we have gained, yeah, I don't know. Lloyd got back to his production seat and a whole lot looks different. As we've lost Christian for the summer, but we have gained Lloyd back as he made the trip back across the pond. Lloyd, it's great to see your face again. I think everybody missed you.
Across the pond.
Uh-huh.
I learned a lot of culture.
Well, funny enough, while you were there, this thing on Twitter, you know how we had the 100 men versus a gorilla deal? Mm-hmm. Now it's 100 Americans versus 100 Brits.
I saw that.
Now that you've been to London,
people over
yeah,
there.
what are your thoughts on that matchup?
I saw the matchup where also it could have been. Is this plugged Christian? Jesus
He unplugged the mic.
Yeah, impossible. Check.
You good?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, no, not a lot of intimidating people over there, but I think they tried to hustle me one time. They're like, "Oh, did you slap that mustache on this morning?" I was like, "Oh, tough way to find out your mother has a landing strip." And they're like, "Oh shit." I just got off the plane, brother. Take it to the tube if we want.
Better watch yourself, bro. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't think the 100 Brits have a chance.
No, then they threw in just the South.
Yeah, I mean,
that's all you need.
If we beat y'all in 1776, what do you think you're going to do in 2025?
Got to switch, brother.
Yeah, these muskets are gone, buddy. It's a brand new game. But a good weekend, good week last week. Shout out to Christian. Stepped up in Lloyd's absence and did a decent job getting the stream up, taking care of business for us and for Mic'd Up last week. And now he's officially gone, I guess. Just shipped off for the summer to go work a job, but he handled business. Your prodigy did his job last week, Lloyd. He may have messed a couple of things up.
There's no bump music.
Yeah, he at least got the show up and running every day last week.
I appreciate it. I heard he was earlier than late.
Yeah, so,
as one does. That's producing 101.
Yeah, on Monday he texts me before I was even awake that he was here. You know, he got here like 6:15. Monday to have everything up and rolling. Then he says after the show on Monday, which he did a really good job, he was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to get here quite as early tomorrow." I was like, "Okay." But he's still here before I got here the next day. And then obviously we had the weather on Wednesday. Thursday he was on time. Friday morning I wake up to I'm going to be about 20 minutes late text.
All right.
And I was like, "Okay." So I did the show by myself for the first 20. And then he decided to waddle on in here. And then we had to leave early because he had a Spanish final. So, but it's good to be back. It's good to have you back, Lloyd.
Like everything went great.
We all miss you. We missed you so much. It's nice to have you back there. But a big weekend of news as LSU obviously handles business on Friday and Saturday against Arkansas. Somehow they let Alex Box get alive once again after dark. And for some reason, Arkansas thought they should put out a tweet about the clock striking midnight in Alex Box, like they have no idea what happens. I saw that. When I tell you, the second they put that tweet out, I had my draft ready to go. because I just knew they were going to regret the clock strikes midnight in Baton Rouge.
Is it Groot licking a baseball? Smelling it?
He was sniffing it. I didn't understand the picture at
baseball
all.
Stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what that is. And LSU walks it off game number 1, 5-4. Then they turn around on Saturday, and the Bats were alive as they run-rule the Hogs in 7 innings, 13-3, off of a walk-off strikeout, which was the most unbelievable ending to that game ever. And then, obviously, yesterday they fall to the Hogs 7-4. They're not able to get the sweep, but they take the series from the Razorbacks. Woke up to some news Saturday morning, some NFL news, some New Orleans Saints news. There it is. Sniffing the ball. First of all, the haircut, outstanding. Got a good fade into the beard. But sniffing the ball, I don't quite understand.
And more, it's the verbiage.
The what?
The verbiage. the clock strikes midnight, Baton Rouge. Yeah. It did indeed.
It did. and you saw what happened when LSU Baseball's playing after that clock strikes midnight. But yes, Saturday morning, woke up to some news. My phone was buzzing as Derek Carr retires. I saw a lot of happy people on the social media sphere as Derek Carr and his run with the Saints ends. And I tell you what, we'll get into it more, and obviously we'll have Nick Underhill on Wednesday to talk about it more. But as much as Derek Carr deserves the scrutiny and I guess the complaints on how he handled things in New Orleans, this was probably the best way it could have went down. He could have let this kind of string out and linger, but he goes ahead and retires, steps away, and it helps the Saints out as I think they get a little bit of cap room help after Derek Carr announces his career is over. But we should have Mikey Mahtook joining us at 8 a.m. this morning. I didn't check with him, so I guess we'll see. Should have him joining us at 8 a.m. this morning to talk about the weekend. We should have some sound from Jay Johnson as well, recapping the weekend as he got ejected yesterday by the softest umpire ever, which was unbelievable. Didn't even give Jay a warning, just threw him out the game straight up. And Jay talked about that a little bit. But and what was a very winnable game for LSU yesterday, Jay Johnson ends up getting ejected because, I understood it. Now, Luis probably could have framed that pitch a little bit better, but it was a strike. But just straight up soft move by the umpire, throwing him out of the game there when Jay had his number. I think he was more upset than anything that Jay called him out on flinching. And he was like, you know what, you can go ahead and get out of here. And he throws him out. But, Lloyd, how much LSU baseball did you watch while you were in London? Both.
I got to catch a good bit of it, actually, just because of the way that, obviously, the game worked out, where you have the delay on, was it
right.
Friday? So that was like Saturday at 5 a.m. for me, and my phone was, of course, going berserk.
Nice.
And I was like, well, LSU either won or lost. He's like, no, it's the 6th inning. And so I just turned it on and started watching. So I got to watch Friday. Saw a little bit of Ianson on Saturday, and then was home for Sunday, so I watched all of yesterday's game. But the best was obviously the 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, LSU's playing. I'm awake. Let's watch the Tigers try to roll this thing up, and they were able to do so. And obviously, you get the electric walk-off, I guess, if you want to call it that. On people were calling for Jay's head on Saturday because you didn't 10-run him. I was watching on the stream service, and the chat in there is insane.
Yeah.
And so I threw a couple of, barbs in there as well because I was like, well, nobody knows who I am. And so I got to do that. It was just like, well, you have to close it out. You have to 10-run them. Then they end up 10-running them the next inning. And how they misused Ianson. It's like, you do know that they play on Thursday next week, right? So Ianson will be bumped up a day.
Right.
And so pulling him is the right move to not have to use any more pitches. Ianson talked about it as well when they interviewed him after the game. I think it was on Sunday they talked to him. Maybe it was during the game. But he's like,
oh, yeah.
The pitching staff and Coach Jay have a very good understanding of what we're trying to do and how we feel.
Yes.
They talk to us a ton. I guess the biggest thing would have been what happened with your ace on Friday to make sure he's healthy.
Yes, that was the biggest scare of my life. When that happened, I didn't care about what happened in that baseball game. win or lose. I was just sitting there waiting
For an
to
update.
hear what had happened to Cade Anderson, because regardless, like if he's hurt, regardless of if you beat Arkansas and you get that top 8 seed, it's hard to be excited about what's to come in the postseason if Cade Anderson's got some type of injury. But it's announced after the game that it's a cramp, or it was a cramp, and that he should be okay, which was a second win of the night, because I was very much nervous. But yeah, you handle that Ianson deal the same like that every single time, in my opinion. I mean, you got through 6. Why you can't trust your bullpen to go get you 3 more outs? They got them. Now they gave up 3 runs. You had to go out there and score one more time, but you still ended the game in 7 innings, got everybody out of there early, and got back on the field the next day. I would have handled the Ianson start the same exact way. There was no reason. He just threw a CG the weekend before. It was going to be a short week. Get him out of there. He's in a good spot. See if Maverick Ridgey can go out there and get 3 more outs. He wasn't able to. Primo came in, wasn't able to get an out. And then they finally got out of the inning. I think Newt came in and closed it out. I think I would have handled it the same way.
Yeah, he was you had Ianson at 93 pitches. Obviously,
Yeah.
the 11 strikeouts were electric. 1 walk, a great outing, like a quality start. And then, like you said, you have an early week. You have a lead that seems like you really can't, shouldn't blow it at least, but then you're still able to 10-run when you have, and you want to see these guys get some work. Like, you're still trying to figure out what kind of in your bullpen,
right,
and like what you have. So you see Rizzi come in, gives up 3 runs. You see Primo not be able to record an out, and then you have Jade Newt coming in to kind of slam the door, and then you get the weird walk-off walk.
Yes.
And so it wasn't the biggest deal in the world, but it was something that people were don't criticize anything.
Oh, of course. But
the bigger story of that too is like Ianson is dealing.
I mean, yeah, LSU straight up has 2 aces.
That's what it feels like.
Like I did my weekly phone radio deal with 97.7 with Sean Fox in North Louisiana, and his question asked me, he was like, "Who's the ace for LSU?" I was like, "They got 2 of them." Mm-hmm. I was like, I mean, you go Friday and Saturday, and prior to this weekend, that's where that's where most of my confidence lies in LSU moving forward, is the 2 guys that they have starting on Friday and Saturday. I mean, that is straight up 2 of the best pitchers in the country starting for LSU in Game 1 and Game 2. It's going to be hard to lose baseball games when you have guys pitching like that. I mean, even though Cade's pitch count was a little high on Friday, he still went out there and shoved. And then Ianson, once again, just nails from the jump. Like, as much as we talked about earlier in the season, Ianson was a guy that needed to kind of get into games, get to the 5th and 6th so he could really start dealing. These past 2 weekends, he's been dealing from the second he got on the bump. I mean, he got out of that first inning, I think, with 12 pitches, and he was in a good spot to roll on through the game, and he did everything right. I think did he shut him out? They didn't score a run when he was pitcher. They scored 1 before Rizzi got in there. He had 11 Ks.
Yeah.
6 shutout innings.
Yeah, gave up 5 hits, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts, no earned, no runs. So shutout.
Yep, and the offense showed up early on Saturday, but to rewind to Friday night, it was a pitcher's duel, obviously, like expected, but LSU was able to scratch a couple runs across here and there. When they finally got, who was there? Was it Wood or Root? Root was the starter on.
I am Root.
On Friday for Arkansas. They finally got him out of the game. Arkansas goes to their best relief pitcher, and LSU started scratching runs across. They got on base. They scored some runs. Derek Curiel stepped up like it seems like he always does when he's at the plate. It was a good win for LSU on Friday as they were able to finally get a little bit of offense. They were able to force the issue a little bit and score runs before you saw the offensive explosion that you did on Saturday, where Jake Brown got the party started early. 2-1. Jake Brown stepping into the box, crushes a baseball, hang that breaking ball, and he sends it over the wall to get the party started early. So good stuff from LSU baseball over the weekend. Like I said, Mikey Mahtook will join us at 8 a.m. to give his insight and his thoughts. But I thought more than anything, as much as yesterday was disappointing, like in the moment watching the game, you have an opportunity to sweep. You feel like you can win that game, and I just hate losing in general. Even though you won the series, I still just hate losing. They weren't able to get the job done yesterday. But if you would have told me on Thursday, because we talked about it on Thursday. It was me, John Eads, and Christian. Christian thought LSU was getting swept, and me and John played it safe and said that LSU takes 1 out of the 3. I thought they would steal Saturday with Anthony because of the way he was pitching. And they go out there and they take care of business and they win the series. So if you'd have told me on Thursday that LSU takes 2 out of 3 against Arkansas and puts themselves in a good position to be a top 8 national seed, which I think they're in a great position to do so with South Carolina up next, I would take that 100 out of 100 times. Now, obviously in the moment yesterday, I'm upset they didn't get the sweep, but LSU goes out, handles business against an Arkansas team that was playing really good baseball, had just swept Texas, who was the number 1 team in the country. A lot of people were looking at Arkansas as the best team in college baseball, and they had all eyes on this weekend. They head into Alec Box, and LSU takes 2 out of 3. The second one in very, very, very explosive fashion as they rule the Hogs 13-3 through 7 innings. So I thought you saw a lot of good things this weekend. Ethan Fry looked excellent once again. Jake Brown on Saturday looked great. The offense could have been a little bit better in game 1 and 3, but I think you saw a lot of the potential that I was talking about last week, where I was struggling to separate the potential I knew this offense had versus what I had witnessed week in and week out, which was not a very good offense. You saw all that potential kind of surge on Saturday. Like, that was the offense that we've expected to see a lot from just the fact that you had Jake Brown crushing baseballs. Kate Aaron Beatty comes in the game, crushes a baseball. Ethan Fry stays hot. That's the offense that you expected LSU to have every single weekend. They just haven't really done that consistently enough. But that's the potential we've talked about.
Well, you saw the good on Saturday and then the ugly on Sunday.
Yes.
When you have Curiel, Jared Jones, Ethan Fry, 0 for 11 with 8 strikeouts. Not the best. Bob, total of 2 for 13, 8 strikeouts, 1 RBI, 2 walks. Luis Hernandez, 2 for 5 with a homer. Stephen Milam, 2 for 4 with a homer. 3 for 16 with runners on, 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position.
Ew.
Arkansas bullpen had 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 3 walks, 11 strikeouts. I guess you could spin this as a positive if you want to. Bear Jones on the weekend, game 1, 2 for 5, 3 strikeouts, 2 singles, and an RBI. Game 2, 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks. Game 3, 0 for 5, 3 strikeouts. Also, I felt like the umpire didn't really like him as much as maybe he likes others. An interesting man, if you want to give him a Google. But I would say you could spin it as a positive because you won 2 of the 3 games with Bear Jones going, 5, 6,
not playing well.
2 for 13.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't really play well this week. I saw him swinging at a lot of those. They were getting back to throwing him off speeds instead of fastballs.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like he gets up there and sometimes he's guessing a little bit where he's going, thinking for sure off speed it's fastball, thinking for sure fastball it's off speed. It's like at some point he'll get lucky. And because he started to hit the ball a little bit better, he was starting to kind of turn the corner. And Mikey's talked about this before, whenever it slumps go, you kind of find something, put something in the bucket, and then you're like, oh, okay, that felt good. Ball in the barrel. And you saw him do that a couple times. Obviously scores the game-winning run on Friday, which, I mean, I don't think a lot of people would have had Bear Jones as tagging on a short.
Right.
Short.
Yeah, I mean,
a short pop-up to center.
Shallow pop-out to center field.
And center fielder all-time throw, by the way. Put that thing on the button.
That was
Bear
perfect.
Jones was running in quicksand, too, brother. Get that, pick him up and put him down. But is able to slide in safe, and then you get that. call at home plate, which was electric, which they didn't even give them a chance to review it. They were already out and shirtless by the time they tried to review it. And then you have the umpire with the hop.
That was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
It was. Man got vertical.
That's called that's how that man's a true fan. Like, he was excited.
Let's go home.
Get out of there.
And I'm right.
He jumps a little bit on the safe call. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, no, you saw definitely.
And then Sunday, the umpires really do seem to really get themselves involved here. I don't know how
the ejection.
Yeah.
Rewind it. Go back to the pitch. Because this is a strike all day.
It is. It's just
Luis didn't frame it.
Yeah, it looks like it got crossed up a little bit,
yes.
but it caught all of middle.
Yes. Like, easiest call in the world. This guy.
I love it. What a legend.
I need to find this guy because he was seeing red.
Punch him out.
Soft. I mean, come on,
Soft.
dude.
You flinched.
You did.
He does, because watch him go to pull it back. Oh,
like, he wanted it. Just call it.
This guy knew it.
Love him. Absolutely love him.
But shocked to see him you flinched. I guess that would.
I mean, I guess that would be offensive.
Tell another man he flinched.
Yeah. No, you flinched.
Two for flinching. He
Like,
didn't even get a warning.
It was more.
You got to warn me, cuz.
Yeah, I mean, he said that there was a warning earlier, which it was a dugout warning.
Right.
And not a...
That wasn't me.
It wasn't a direct warning for Jay Johnson. He talked about it after the game.
I have that also.
I think he addressed that aspect. But I think the umpire was more embarrassed than anything because
he was.
Jay kind of big-dogged him.
Yeah.
Like, buddy, you flinched. You got it wrong.
Two for flinching.
And he was like, you got me. Get out of here.
Yeah, I got to run you now.
Yeah, like, come on.
You flinched.
Dude. Come on.
You flinched.
And then he squeezes Chase Shore's zone later in the game, which Chase is another thing that I was going to say. Some more
bright
good,
spot.
Some more good that came from the weekend. I thought Chase Shores has pitched well. Zach Cowan looked great in game one, kind of back to his normal outing as he got hit a little bit against A&M, but he looked nails on Friday night. Showed some emotion, I think, in the top of the 10th. When he got out of a jam there and handled business. So it was good to see him. But, yeah, Chase Shores to me was a big highlight of the weekend where you're kind of seeing him find a little bit of a rhythm. He got squeezed a little bit because he should have gotten out of some of those innings earlier than he did. But the umpire wasn't really giving him the stuff in the black and on the corner of the plate. But I thought he looked good. He was sitting at 98, 99 with the fastball, and he had really good control of it, I thought. And it was good to see him get out there and take care of business because he is going to be very important for LSU moving forward and all they want to accomplish. Especially Casey Evans seems to be still kind of getting comfortable in the starting role. Did you have some stats on Evans the last 2 weekends?
I did. I did this myself.
Good job.
It was exhausting. Casey Evans' last 2 starts, you go back to A&M, 3 1/3, 3 hit ball, 1 earned, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts last night or yesterday afternoon, 3 2/3, 7 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. And this is what I was going to ask potentially Mikey to see what his thoughts are because you mentioned Zach Cowan.
Yep.
Somebody that comes from Wofford as a former starter, and it'll be interesting to see if you tinker with this thing one more step and put Cowan in that Sunday role because he's somebody that started before.
Yeah.
He has logged starter innings. That's where he was before you put him in the pen. But I don't know how much they want to tinker with all this stuff whenever you got 1 series left, SEC tournament, and then it's showtime.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you want to move one more time of Casey Evans back to the bullpen and then Cowan becomes the guy you bring in on Sunday. I don't even know if this is something that is warranted to having a conversation about. But if you're still searching for a Sunday guy, obviously it feels like Shores has warmed up to what his new role is coming up the pen.
I agree. I don't want to mess with that.
What did he have? He was 3 1/3, 2 hit, 1 run ball, 4 strikeouts, and then you still see some bright spots from Jacob Myers.
Yes.
Where he's starting to kind of, whenever he figures it out, it looks great. I mean, even Cooper looked good yesterday.
Yeah, Cooper looked excellent.
Until it kind of all fell apart, which wasn't his fault.
No, yeah, I agree.
But you've seen some other guys like Newt look good. You've seen some other guys like kind of make some of, that take strides in the bullpen. The one that you haven't seen really is Schmidt, who continues to struggle, which sucks.
It does suck because
you see it.
He's the kind of the X factor. Like if he can click, LSU is a drastically different baseball team, but it just hasn't clicked yet. But yeah, I don't know how much they're going to want to tinker. I would be surprised if they do mess with it too much. They do have South Carolina next weekend as LSU travels to Columbia to take on the Gamecocks. And they're coming off of I think they got swept by Auburn, I believe. I know for sure they lost game 1 and game 2 because game 1 they lose 24-2, I think. And game 2 they got walked off on a little squeeze bunt at the end of the game, and the pitcher
They've
didn't
been
even
close
try to
in
throw
some
it
of
home.
these games.
But if you watch the play they lost on
I
in
saw
game
it.
2,
You
he
can't
throws
have
to
it.
throw
Throw
to
to first.
Buddy, we got to know the situation
And they,
here.
of course, they quick cut to Paul, who's like, "What the fuck am I doing? Why did I do this?" Looks good in the colors, though. He looked like he had a little life to him, but they could potentially set
they got swept.
Set a record for the most losses they've ever had.
Well, now they're
Potentially, the South Carolina Gamecocks could potentially finish with the worst record in 25 years.
Yep, and they could drop to the bottom of the barrel in the SEC as
After
Missouri
Mizzou
goes out there and sweeps Texas A&M, takes 3 out of 3 against the Aggies, who were feeling hot after taking the series from LSU, and Mizzou catches them off guard and enters that weekend 0-24 in the conference and sweeps
3-24
the
now.
Aggies. Make it 3-24.
Not
guys.
great, Bob, for LSU though.
Nah, that looks a little bad.
Yeah, but those losses to Missouri are brutal for your RPI.
Oh my! I mean, when A&M lost the second game, you thought they have no chance getting into postseason play now, and then they go out and they
don't
lose
even put up a
again.
fight,
and they lose in ugly fashion on Sunday. So it's a little bit around the league. I think Florida takes 2 of 3 versus Texas, as they are still they're kind of coming back down to earth, as they were playing such good baseball, and the last couple of weekends have not gone quite as well for the Longhorns. What else happened in the conference? Tennessee loses 2 out of 3 to Vandy and decides that they want to fight after the game, which I think it's getting out of hand at this point. At some
kick him
point,
out the league, Doug.
something's got to happen because it's one team every single weekend that's getting involved in something like this. Like every single weekend, you're having something like this occur in the Southeastern Conference. And when you look at the 2 teams involved, there's always a common denominator, and it's Tennessee. I mean, if you go back and watch the video of what happened between Tennessee and Vandy last night, Vandy gets the out. They're going to celebrate, and this guy that I guess was on third,
This is their
Number 9?
This is their big dog.
like, just walk to the dugout, brother. Just keep going. Like, look, he's looking for it.
Yeah,
Looking for it. Trying to start something.
that's Inslee.
Of course it is. Like, and then, of course, Big Dog that wanted to fight.
Yeah, like
Bear
that
Jones
guy.
rolls out the dugout first.
Not even him. It's this other lunatic that looks like he's definitely gonna beat his wife at some point. Like, what is this energy?
yeah.
Like, you're not gonna do anything, dude.
Dude, I mean, come on, man. Like, at some point, we've got to do something to stop this.
Like,
This game was over. They're celebrating around the pitchers like they're going to celebrate the win. And this guy decides he wants to start something.
Yeah, Inslee makes it about. I mean, it's an epidemic.
This is a great piece of video because it really dissects what happened. Get back to the start, because I mean, this is the game's over. They're celebrating like Tennessee should be. Everybody's walking to the dugout, but this cat Inslee.
And I'm sure you heard. Like, I'm sure Inslee heard something he didn't
course.
like.
Deal with it. You
But
lost.
like, he's going over. Like, yeah, now
It's
he's got to go
sports.
say something. Like, whoa, dude. Like, you're talking to a fucking coach.
Like, it's baseball. It's sports. It's athletic. Like, it's competition. They're fired up. They won. You lost. You got to take it and go. That guy, I didn't even see him the first time I watched it. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, you got some energy.
Like,
I think he plays.
what are we doing, man?
But it's always something like you're right, because it does come down at some point. Like, Tennessee fans, what do they call it? They're competitive.
Yeah, it's the competitive fire.
It's the competition in us.
Whatever, dude.
Like at some point, like you said, whatever it becomes, series after series that Tennessee's involved with, like, what are y'all doing? It's embarrassing for the sport, to be honest.
It's embarrassing for the league. Like, you want to call yourself the new face of college baseball? How?
They'll never shake 2022.
Never. It's absolutely unbelievable. At some point, something's going to have to be done. Because, like we said, it's every single weekend you hear about something happening, and then you open up the video, and you always see that Tennessee
shocking,
orange.
it's Tennessee.
Like, every single time, Tennessee's involved in it.
And they lost the series.
And they didn't win. And I saw on Twitter, like, Tennessee fans are going out defending, like, everything that's going on. Because at one point, a guy for Tennessee hits a home run, a solo shot to tie the game 1-1. This guy, dude, buddy.
Calm down.
Like, unbelievable. I wish we could see his number. Can you find his number, like his jersey number, so we can know who that is?
Yeah, the stats on this guy.
Yeah, I would love to see how much he actually plays, or if he's just there to fight. They hit a solo home run, I believe, to tie the game up, and the guy jogs around the bases screaming, "This is my house. This is our house," or something. Like, chirping everybody as he hits a solo shot early in the game.
Oh, it was, what is it, game 2 when they thought they were going to mount a comeback, and they fell short.
It's getting out of hand at this point. It really is. I'm all about competition, and I understand in sports things like this happen. But it's too consistent with one team. When that's the case, that's when I have a problem with it. Like, at some point, you've got to put a stop to it. I don't know how the SEC does it. I don't know what Greg Sankey and the Southeastern Conference should do. Like, I don't know how you really handle this, like, discipline-wise, but they have to be disciplined at some point. Shane LeBlanc, the sad part is that Vitello has been mostly calm this year compared to his players. Yeah, I mean, it seems like they've kind of taken a next step to fill in for a lot of the stuff that Vitello used to pull. But, like, Vitello just, if he gets mad at umpires or he wants to pick a fight with the umps, whatever, this is just getting too far where they continue to try to fight the opposing team during every game. Shout out to the chat finding the number and the name. Andrew Fisher says David Reed, number 43 from Dalton. Does this guy play or no? I would love to hear his stats because I feel like he's just there to fight and yell at people.
Is it 43?
That's what Dalton says, 43.
Luke Payne? Yeah,
that's him. What we got on our numbers here? Let's see, a redshirt senior?
Nope, he is a sophomore from Tennessee.
Okay, hometown boy.
2025. Stats.
Let's see it. Drum roll, please.
He has a total of 3.2 innings pitched.
Nice. Yep, 3 2/3.
4 walks. 3 2/3. 4 walks, 5 strikeouts, 2 wild pitches.
Nice.
74.
That's about what I expected.
Pitches. Yeah, of course.
Just a little too much juice.
Yeah.
That he can strike you out. He can get 5 Ks. But you're going to get walked 4 times in that same span.
That wasn't in one game. That's on the year.
Eesh.
3 2/3 innings.
3 2/3 innings.
Yeah. Got a lot to offer, though.
Yeah, he's
brings
got
the
a
juice
really
out
strong vein in that right of his neck as he was ready to fight somebody.
I thought he was going to play. That's my big opportunity, coach.
Yeah, I'm trying to win. He's trying to win Vitello over.
Yeah, but and you talk like Vitello does seem like he's at least calmed it down a little bit, but when it gets to moments where it's tense, he goes back to his old form.
Well, and
I mean, I saw more of him than I saw of any player whenever it was the Tennessee LSU series.
Oh my gosh! And when he's got no control over his roster, like he's got no control over the players that are out there. Like, even if he did want to dial it back a little bit, it's at this point too far gone.
You haven't seen him hold anybody accountable for how they act.
Like,
whatever
he
it
wants
gets,
that.
Yeah, he lets them play that way, but this is from the top down.
Yes, starts with them. 100%. It starts with Tony Vitello And I respect what he's done from a recruiting standpoint.
Yeah.
He's built the roster. He's brought Tennessee baseball to a place that, from what I can remember, they've never truly been. But I'm all for being the villain. I have no issue if you want to be the bad guy. Like LSU women's basketball embraced that the being the villain. You know, like I'm all for that. If that's what you want to be, do it. The bad boy Pistons, if that's who you want to be. But stop trying to fight teams every single weekend, especially when you lose. Like, you have no reason. Number 9, Mr. Inslee, has no reason to pick that fight with Vanderbilt after that game. No reason. The game is over, cuz.
Yeah.
They're celebrating. They can say what they want at that point. You lost. Now, if the game's still going and they chirp back and forth, maybe, whatever. But the game was over and you took the L, big dog. You got to just pack it up, get to the dugout.
Yeah.
You
would, like I said, you would like to see, like, this could be really pretty much nipped in the bud by your head coach. Like, if you didn't let this happen or, like, made a concerted effort to seek out like this type of behavior and be like, hey, bro, no.
Cut this out.
Yeah, like you don't ever see Tennessee coaches running over there and trying to stop anything.
No.
And that comes from the top down. It does. So it's Vitello to say, well, we play with an edge. We're competitive. Like,
whatever.
You look like a bunch of Bush League bullshit baseball. Like, it looks like travel ball.
It does.
It looks like men's grown look. It looks like fucking men's softball.
Yeah, it's rec league.
It looks like men's softball.
Like the third base coach is walking in front of Inslee. I guarantee you can hear everything that's being said behind him. And instead of turning around and getting him away,
you let him go. Lets
him go. And at this point, now it's past the point of Vitello stepping up and doing anything, and it's to the point of Greg Sankey and the SEC are gonna have to step in. I just don't really know what the consequence could even be. Like, what would they do?
You would think that you would have like a phone call.
Yeah.
Like, handle it in house and like talk to Vitello and be like, look, this is a bad look for the league.
Right.
But I doubt it.
Yeah, when I don't even know, even if that happens.
Because we're talking about it like it's, I don't want to say it's good for the sport because it's not, but it is certainly polarizing.
Well, I think that's why they do it.
Yeah.
They want to be talked about. Like, they lost.
They lose the series at home to Vanderbilt, and what are you talking about instead?
They are the storyline, not Vandy.
Right.
So, I get it. Like, I'm all for if you want to be the bad guy and the villain, but this is... You're the reigning national champion. Like, have a little bit of class. Like, just a little bit. A little bit of class. I'm all for being the bad guy. If you want to be the bad guy, do it. You can talk a little trash here and there. But there's certain moments when you talk trash. And I feel like everyone that grows up playing sports understands there's moments where you can talk a little mess and get in somebody's face. And there's moments when you need to just suck it up and trot the bases or walk back to your dugout and you lost.
Yeah, it was Andrew Fisher that started off with literally talk shit to everybody he saw.
Literally.
After a solo homer.
That tied the game.
Yeah, early. But that's part of it where, like, you don't even talk, like, shit the right way.
Yeah, no, it's like there are certain times where you can talk trash.
I saw it on Twitter, obviously, like everybody, because that game was on ESPN too.
Yeah,
like the entire series was, and then you see that happen. And it's like, well, he's quick pitching them. It's like,
okay,
at some point, when does it stop? Like, Tennessee fans are unbelievably good at like having the back of Tennessee. They're ride or die at this point because, like you said, it's always one team, and they're like, nuh-uh. It's like, yeah, it is. Like, even LSU, like, didn't even, like, that series was good baseball, and it was, I would say it wasn't even that contentious, but there were definitely moments during the series where the emotion was high.
Right, the most contentious series that LSU's played in.
Right.
Like,
bar none.
And it didn't come up against A&M. It didn't come up against Alabama. It didn't come up against Auburn. And anybody else.
Texas?
It came up against one team.
And you knew it going in.
LSU has some class, and they didn't let it get to that point. But
and then Tennessee will say LSU didn't have class with the way that Bear Jones walked it off. And it's like, whoa.
That's the moment that you can talk a little trash.
Well, because your shortstop tried to slow walk it and wanted to have some words with Bear Jones while he's rounding the bases. It's like, buddy, it's over.
Yeah.
Same thing I told the umpire. It's over.
It's over. Like, well, that in my mind is an okay time if you're Bear Jones. You're allowed to say what you want.
Yeah.
You just crushed a baseball 500 feet in the air
to win it.
To win the game at 1 a.m. Like, you can talk a little trash at that point.
Well, no, but I'm saying, like, it was the short fella.
Right.
Like,
what's his name?
Oh,
I forget it.
I don't know, and I don't care to, but he was the first one out the dugout, too.
Yeah.
Yesterday. But, like, he slow walks off the field intentionally to be able to talk to Bear Jones while he's rounding third base. Like, well, of course I'm going to turn and look at your dugout.
Yeah.
Because you're talking to me.
You made this happen.
So, it would be it's about time for this season to get wrapped up for Tennessee because enough is kind of enough at this point.
Yeah, I mean, and the worst part is they're losing.
That's what I'm saying.
They're winning.
But you'll probably see them in Omaha.
Maybe. I mean, right now,
they're floundering.
Trickling on down.
Well, 7 of the top 8 seeds are SEC teams.
Oh, we've got some names here. Sabrion says Ariel. Shane LeBlanc says douchebag. That's his name. Fawn says McTwatface.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that they are getting entirely out of hand at this point. Like, going back and watching that video against Vanderbilt, there's no reason for anything to happen right there.
Yeah, it's game.
Game's over, series over. Go to your dugout, go home. It's over. And they go out of their way to cause something, some type of issue, some sort of problem. So we'll see if anything happens. I would just be surprised if there's any sort of consequence that Tennessee faces because we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, but then I saw this also on the internet. I don't know if it's true or not, but that Jay would maybe miss the first game of the South Carolina series for being ejected. But I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know the rules.
But LSU gets punished for this because the umpire can't.
Right.
Like, Jay's been tossed twice.
Right. And Jay, now look, does Jay give the umpires an earful? Yeah. Is Jay disrespectful and are his players disrespectful?
No.
No. But there's a team in the conference that is blatantly disrespectful to the opposing team, to the opposing coaches, to the umpires, to the sport every single weekend. I don't see many consequences, like the umpire got his feelings hurt and Jay gets ejected and he's got to deal with consequence. Like, if that happens, I don't know if that's the rule, but if Jay has to sit out game 1 against South Carolina, God, I can only imagine the consequences Tony Vitello and his team should have. So, it's just at this point, it's getting out of hand on the way Tennessee's handling things, and you would love to see it get taken care of.
In SEC baseball, a head coach ejected for misconduct or unsportsmanlike conduct will face a suspension for their team's next game.
Wow. With
a written warning for the first offense. Subsequent offenses within the same academic year lead to suspension.
So since it's his second ejection,
right,
he has to sit out next game.
Yeah. So a coach ejected for the same reason again, which I'd imagine is balls and strikes.
Right.
Within the same academic year. I don't know if we're in the same academic year as school has come to a close, right? Aren't they in?
Yeah, finals week was last week. Shouldn't the academic year be
over? So the
over?
academic year should be over.
Right.
Will be suspended for the next game. So we'll see. It depends on what you consider the academic year.
Yeah, Seville, Jay doesn't hide out in the dugout. He wouldn't be a good coach here if he did, but Jay doesn't embarrass us. Yeah, no, I'm not saying Jay keeps it quiet and hides, but I don't think Jay's overly disrespectful.
Jay is like that's competitive.
Yes, that's competitive fire. The umpire flinched. He told him he flinched.
It's so insulting when you think of just as a man.
Yeah,
like I get why he got tossed, but he wasn't even trying to say it disrespectfully. But like
really, you flinched.
Yeah, really, it's like pussy. You're like,
no, 100%.
Yeah, no, everybody saw it, so you're gone. So they used about a little bit of power.
Get out of here.
And it's just so funny how it is so degrading to be like, you flinched.
Yeah.
Like, oh. You did. Everybody saw it.
Shoot, you called me.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. You got to go.
Gone.
Hey, you get a warning.
You're gone. So
I did warn you. That wasn't me.
Fonz, that umpire had his feelings hurt by Poppy, and then Jay big nutsing him saying, no, that's 100% what it was. I mean, his feelings were hurt
flinched.
Because Jay big dogged him.
You scared?
Oh, you scared? Oh.
This is LeBron. Ooh.
So, I mean,
It's so true, though. It really was because of if you didn't say you flinched, if he says anything else like you missed it,
right.
It's probably different.
Yeah.
But you flinched.
You flinched.
We all saw it. You
flinched.
Yeah.
He got him. The umpire should have just been like, "Yep, you got me."
Yeah, my bad. Make it right. All right, I'll get you on the next one.
Jesse T. O'Neill, I'm glad Jay is calling out these umps. They've been garbage.
Yeah.
They've been awful. Absolutely awful. Like, this was my thing. I get that Luis probably didn't frame that pitch as good as he should have, because if he frames it, it's a strike 10 times out of 10. Your job as the umpire isn't to watch where the catcher catches it. You're watching if the ball crosses the plate or not. And it was right across the plate. But he called it a ball, and he wanted to call it a strike because guess what? He flinched. So,
but yeah, Carl Dunn, what I hear about the umpire, it's got some other problems.
Yeah, I feel like you hinted at this, and I don't really know what you're talking about.
You didn't see it?
No.
Oh.
I missed it.
He wanted to be a Major League Baseball umpire.
Is this what you put in the doc?
Yeah, but because of his
okay.
His sexual leanings, he said he was blackballed by Major League Baseball.
Well,
and
he's got a chip on his shoulder.
Oh yeah,
and
ends up in the
SEC. And
he's been on the crew when Jay's been ejected for the South Carolina.
Really?
Yeah, he was the first base umpire
in the SEC tournament last year.
So
when Jay got ejected before the Milam walk off.
Yeah.
Wow.
When the Brady Neal, they tried to South Carolina incidentally tried to steal a home plate, and to the letter of the law, it was the right call, but it took forever. And like Jay was just asking the ruling, and apparently that was too much.
Too much
to see what happens. Like, I've never seen that ever called, but and we talked to Jay about it after his Texas ejection. He's like, look, I don't like to get ejected, whatever. But he was, and then whenever we talked about the Tennessee game, whenever he obviously doesn't get ejected, but they have to call the SEC office to figure out the ruling as to Vitello visiting and how many visits you can have, and if he actually did visit or not.
Second base umpire.
Right. It's like, does that count? Does that warrant a visit? And then they had to get on the phone with the SEC office, and he was like, he goes, if they know anything, I know these umpires know the rules going back to, the SEC tournament. They're on top of the rules, and I didn't catch it as a dig then, but obviously it is, because he's like, they know the rules. And so, like, Jay, at somebody at some point, you do have to hold them accountable, because as a fan, you saw the guy behind home plate.
Yeah.
He's like, to do it. Ring him up. Like, everybody sees it.
Yeah.
And if you're the head coach of the baseball team, you have to consistently see this every weekend, and you live and die with every pitch. And you're like, we can't get
a break.
We can't get anything right.
Yeah.
And the one thing I can't argue is the thing that's the most wrong that I'm having to watch every day.
And the second I argue it,
I have to get tossed.
You're throwing me out the game.
So it does need to be fixed. And it's as bad as that, like, I guess we would have called a frame job was. It's clear.
It's a strike.
He caught a good bit of the plate.
That's what you're looking at when you're in a home plate
It's where
umpire.
it crosses. It's not where you caught it.
Amen. So we'll have Mikey Mahtook join us in about 7 minutes at 8 a.m. to get back to the LSU baseball weekend, the good, the bad, and the ugly umpiring that was seen. But Lloyd missed it last week. We made a little bit of an announcement on Tuesday. I'm sure he's heard all of the congratulations and things while he was across the pond. But me and Lloyd have announced that we will be beginning Tingle and Co.
Yeah.
That we will be shifting everything over there. The content's already going out over there now. And the official show will move over there at the end of the month. I think June 2nd will be the first day that everything lives over on the Tingle and Co. channel. We have put the link in the chat the last couple of shows. I'm going to do that again now as Lloyd pops that logo up there.
Fresh fire.
It looks great. I've gotten a lot of compliments on the logo.
Thank you.
On the name and the logo. So there's the link in the chat. So make sure you go over there and subscribe. I know y'all have been watching the subscriber count. Y'all want to the chat wants to hit 10K before football season. Right now we are at 9,078 subscribers. So we appreciate everybody's support on all the accounts. So make sure y'all go over there and subscribe. And follow us on all the other social channels as well. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Making the TikTok next week. It should be done. Waiting on a couple things to come through over there to make sure that gets taken care of. We'll be up on everything soon enough. We'll be rocking and rolling into June. But yeah, we appreciate all you guys' support. and make sure you get over there and you subscribe and you follow us on all the other things as well. I'm gonna put that Linktree link in there that should have all of the different links and to click and go and follow us on everything over on our Linktree. Should have Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of it linked up. There's the link there, so go ahead and click that. Get over there, follow us on everything. We appreciate you guys' support. Lloyd, you have anything you want to say?
Fired up. Hold on, I'm trying to pull up the YouTube channel. So there we are.
Yep, there it is.
Go catch us over here. Subscribe. Yeah, absolutely fired up, brother. We got to get our feet wet a little bit.
Yep.
Absolutely thankful for everything that Culotta did for us. And with him moving on, it only made sense for us to kind of branch out and do our own brand because it didn't make any sense to be the Jordy Culotta show anymore. Sans Jordy Culotta. So we brainstormed a couple of names. No thanks to the chat. I mean, love y'all, but it lasted about 30 seconds before it got absolutely mental, where we couldn't we can't take any of these names.
We can't use these names.
But so we brainstormed, got a logo made. It's kind of all the pieces kind of have been coming together kind of quietly as we were trying to move this thing on and kind of break off and do our own thing. So we've had a lot of help from a lot of different people. Yeah. And so it's finally, it feels right that this is the time. We wanted to do it the right way, not rush into it.
Yep.
And it feels like all of the pieces are finally in where they should be to be able to keep this thing rolling.
Yeah. No, I mean, we're like I said last week and Lloyd just said there, we're very excited. We're appreciative to Jordy and to everyone that's played a part in this, and especially you guys, all the support you've shown. Because I think one of the things I said last Tuesday was, a year ago, we wouldn't have been able to even think about like this wasn't even on the table.
No,
we wouldn't have been able to branch off and do our own thing, and we've gotten the opportunity this last couple of months, and all the support you guys have shown give us the confidence to go out and do this. As yesterday was Mother's Day, shout out to the moms and the support that they've shown. Our parents have played a big part in supporting us through this.
Much
this
to
venture.
Their chagrin.
Do what?
Much to their chagrin.
Yeah, that's for sure. But they've had our back, and we're appreciative to everyone that's been a part of this. So we should have some really exciting stuff coming up.
Oh, Mikey's early.
And Mikey's in there already?
Yeah.
Oh, we don't even need to take a break.
We'll go straight to him.
Straight to him. As we're going to get back to the LSU baseball conversation as we kind of wandered off the track a little bit. We started talking about Tennessee and these umpires.
And ourselves.
Yeah, we talked about ourselves a little bit. But we'll get back to LSU baseball as the legend himself, Mikey Mahtook, joins us. And he gets to see Lloyd's face again for the first time in quite a while.
Does he want 1 second? Or are you ready? Yeah, I can hear you.
Do we need to take a break?
Yeah, we'll
second, boys.
Okay.
One second.
All right.
Take a quick
We'll
break.
take a break.
Not working.
All right, 1 second.
We'll
You're
take a
good. We'll
quick
take a
break.
break.
And we'll be right back with Mikey Mahtook.
He is
himself.
here.
There he is. Looks beautiful.
Yeah, always.
Be right back after this.
Gave me the un momento, por favor.
Pump the brakes.
Red Stick Sports.
You just
Stick
got back
Sports,
there.
a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
Well, the Oscar Andrews Sports Medicine Institute collaborative effort was an idea from Dr. Andrews and myself to bring together two great names, the Andrews name and the Ochsner name, to elevate the quality of care for athletes in the state of Louisiana, where he's from.
I always thought I would come back to Louisiana
and practice orthopedics with my subspecialty being sports medicine. This was an opportunity through Ochsner's to come back and work the entire state to help develop and take sports medicine to a new level.
As an orthopedic surgeon, what this means in the future in terms of, access for our community to the type of care that Dr. Andrews pioneered, words can't describe how valuable that is.
Ochsner has a great opportunity here to really grow, and Dr. Burnham, of course, is the mainstay of making that happen. If you want to have first-class sports medicine care, check in with Dr. Burnham and his group, and you'll be more than impressed and pleased.
48 Insurance Agency, established in 1946, helping you with your home, auto, commercial, life and health insurance needs. Around in Baton Rouge at 4275 Government Street and online at 48agency.com. Whatever insurance you're in the market for, home, auto, commercial, contractors, life and health, get in touch with 48 Insurance Agency, 48agency.com, or give them a call at 225-383-0682. 48 Agency.
Get Gordon and get it done. Yeah, everybody know Gordon in a 225. He done link with Big Four. He got buku ties, Ferrari sliding, flying in a new coupe ride. And every time I ride by, I see a brand new sign. I'm with Gordon, I know that he gon' get it done. Whether it's a big truck crash or a hit and run, recovery funds, he fighting to get a ton. Mike Epps, man, we all about the Benjamin. Handling injuries, man, are you kidding me? Gordon McKernan, that's champion energy. Yeah, family man with a family plan. Get Gordon, he gon' fix it like a handyman. Get Gordon and get it done.
Welcome to Trifecta.
Trifecta Sports Therapy in Baton Rouge. Recover, repair, restore. At Trifecta, they believe in total body wellness. Trifecta gets the body back to its full potential. Whether you're a youth or pro athlete, a pre or postnatal mom, or if you lead an active lifestyle or a senior citizen, Trifecta has the class, the sports massage, the sports therapist, the stretch therapist, or the equipment like infrared sauna, cold plunges, and golf simulators to find your best. Find Trifecta online at trifectasportstherapy.com or check out the beautiful facility today, 8221 Goodwood. Trifecta Sports Therapy.
Hey, Tiger fans, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit us, Tom and Wright Granning, at Go Mart on the Go Deli.
Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip.
Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on your left.
Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff,
where everyone is family.
Got chores that need some extra muscle, but a large piece of equipment is overkill? That's what John Deere compact utility tractors were made for. Powerful enough for the work you need to do. Compact enough for how you need to do it. Find the equipment that's right for you at Sunshine Quality Solutions. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Let you fold up, keep pushing, can't let you slow up, bounce back, can't let you fold up, keep pushing, can't let you slow up. They say that life's a marathon, man, shout out to Nip. They start to think you falling off and they starting to flip. Circumstances start to change and they jumping the ship. Only ones that really matter who's tied to your hip. They tried to push you to the side cause they thought you would quit. May bend but never break, your cloth is legit. When you return in rare form, they all gonna be sick. You ever seen a living legend, just know that I'm it. Slow grind like IT, just know that I'm it. Now I'm back up in my bag, I'm giving them fits. Bounce the bat like John Morant, you know that I'm lit. Making plays like Jack Bash, I'm never gonna sit. Had to be patient, so I waited for the situation. Now that I'm focused, I'ma take it with no hesitation. The hard times that I hated gave me inspiration. Look in the eyes from my kids gave me motivation. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back.
Are we back yet? There we go. Now we're back. I never know. I'm always scared that the mics are on.
You think that the mic would have been on for that conversation? Yes.
Yeah, good thing it was off. Good thing it was
Trying
off.
to better myself.
But we're back here. Hour number 2 officially underway, and we'll get back into the LSU baseball discussion as Mikey Mahtook has joined us once again, and he is reunited with his old buddy and pal, his sidekick, Lloyd Courtney here.
That's right. Glad he got technical difficulties be damned. Look at you.
Hey, that was my fault. I should have tried the headphones before. If it isn't Winston Churchill himself.
That's right.
Welcome back to this side of the pond, Lloyd.
Thank you, sir.
I'm glad. You're nice and cultured.
Yeah, I am now. I've seen a lot. I was a man that was in a Louisiana bubble, and then I went out and I expanded my mind out over in London and learned nothing. Like, there's no reason to go there. Really, not a lot.
A lot of history.
They're big on that, huh? Huge. Mm-hmm. They love big on clocks. Learning about they're like huge deal.
Big Ben. One. There's a big clock there.
Yeah, he's right twice a day, as they say. Mm-hmm. That's where that saying came from. Went on a tour of rock and roll. Turns out there's a lot. Nice. They like to take credit for a lot. They won the war. Like, I thought I learned history differently, I guess.
Yeah.
I thought that America had a big push in that.
Well, they got to tell their story. There's always two sides to every story.
That's true. Than the truth.
Yeah.
It was VE Day when we went over there. There, July the 4th, is Victory over Europe or Victory in Europe Day.
Interesting.
And so they're all out on holiday, drinking pints.
Oh, nice.
And
what a time to go.
Yeah. Then there's they announced the Pope, but that was global, and they got an American, so they made fun of us for that.
Of course.
So
nice.
But
great.
All in all, the good people. Food stinks.
Yeah. Yeah, you weren't having that. I know. I got that from you. It's okay. You're back.
Yes.
You're back.
And how are you,
back.
sir?
I'm very happy that you're back.
I got to catch some LSU baseball, despite being across the pond, thanks to a little delay. And the mic'd up group chat going off at 4:30 in the morning with 35 text messages in a row. It's like, I guess something happened. So I ended up checking us out on a couple channels if you go surf. And so I wanted to get your thoughts on the weekend, sir.
Yeah, big weekend, obviously. Tigers After Dark on Friday night. That was another one. I was not there. We were not there this time, Lloyd. It didn't matter. They ended up winning. I actually fell asleep in the ninth and had to wake up I actually woke up in the middle of the night. Kobe, my dog, woke me up to go take him out. And I woke up at
gamer
3:45 in the morning to go bring him out. And I was like, damn, I probably should check to see if they won. But I was like, I don't want to check because they lost. I'll be pissed. I'm not going to go back to sleep. So I went back to sleep, waited till the morning, woke up, and then obviously saw that they won on a sacrifice fly, which was awesome. And then Saturday was probably their best game of the year, I would imagine. Arkansas arguably is the most complete team in the country as far as offense, defense, and special teams. Offense, defense, and pitching.
Faces.
It's 3 phases of the game. And, LSU goes out there and jumps on them early and continues to tackle on runs. They don't give up a bunch of runs and then 10-run roll them. And then even on Sunday, I thought LSU played fine. I thought they played well. I think people have to realize that Arkansas is one of the best offensive teams in the country, if not the best offensive team in the country. And LSU held them. They held them in check all week. Obviously, Sunday they had a one inning where they kind of couldn't find the strike zone. Evans, kind of struggled a little bit again and gave up some runs, but LSU was offensively able to come back and threaten and get themselves close. And then they had an inning where they brought some guys out of the bullpen and they didn't get the job done, but was able to kind of limit the damage. But in games like that, when you have teams that are so close and so good and so talented, you can't give up extra. You can't give up, extra base runners and easy runs by walking guys in, and that was ultimately the difference in that game.
Yeah, to start with the good, Cade Anderson, Anthony Ianson, both of those guys once again just beyond impressive. LSU debatedly, and I think for sure, has the best 1-2 punch in the country when it comes to starters for Game 1 and Game 2. Talk about the performances those two guys put in.
Yeah, I feel like every week we're talking about this, right? I mean, Cade Anderson goes out there and he's, as good as it gets. And, I've been on the Cade Anderson train for the last 2 years. And since he came to campus and I watched him pitch and I saw, the stuff that he had and the way his arm action, all of those types of things, you knew he had it. And then you get to know him and you kind of realize, damn, he's not only is he talented, but he's kind of got the makeup behind it. And, he's from Louisiana, went to St. Paul's, wants to play for LSU. And so it means a lot more to him. And you combine all of that and every week you watch him get better and better and better. And, he goes out there and obviously has another lights out performance, does what he needs to do as an ace. And then Ianson is, arguably the last 2 weekends have arguably been, I don't even know if it's arguably, probably the best 2 weekends of any pitcher in the entire country. He goes complete game, I believe 14 strikeouts last weekend, and probably could have gone CG 7 innings with a 10-run if he decided to put him back out there for the 7th. 93 pitches in 6 innings. I think he struck out 11 or 12 guys, and complete and total control, extremely confident on the mound. And, you can't talk enough about those two guys. You can go as far, you're going to go as far as you want to go because you have those two guys in your rotation.
No, 100%. One other guy that I don't think we've really touched on quite enough, and he's been a guy that's been playing really good baseball the last couple of weekends, is Ethan Fry. And just kind of his story as he's just kind of waited his opportunity and he's taken full advantage of it. What did you see from the big guy out of Rose Pine this weekend?
Yeah, Ethan obviously came in super talented. I mean, he's a monster. He's 20 and, runs really well, super athletic. And, last year you kind of saw some flashes of it. Then he got hurt and kind of derailed his season a little bit. And this year, it was one of those things where he didn't transfer. He stayed here. He kind of waited his turn and took full advantage of his opportunities. And early on in the year, he'd get some opportunities midweek and pinch hits, and he was doing really well. And then all of a sudden, he started getting some more opportunities. And, everybody wants to, I'm not going to buy in until you prove it against the SEC, right? So, early in the year, he had all these great numbers, and everybody's like, oh, he hasn't done it in SEC play. It's only midweek. It's only these, inferior competition. And all he has done is continue to perform, whether it's SEC, whether it's midweek, what doesn't matter, off the bench starting. He has continued to perform, and he has kind of taken hold of that DH role and in an extremely important spot behind, the 2 and 3 guys, right? We've talked a lot about on Mic'd Up. Jared Mitchell has talked a lot about this is, the one thing that he wants to be able to see is have somebody strike fear in the opposing pitchers behind Bear Jones. And up until right now, you really haven't found that. And it feels like Ethan Fry with 10 home runs. I think he's hitting, 360, 370, whatever it is. He's kind of emerged as that guy. And, he has an all fields approach. I mean, he's hitting balls out to right. He's hitting balls out to left. He's battling. He's making pitchers work. And he's everything you want. And a DH, he's everything you want in the middle of that lineup. And kudos to him in an era and a time now where it's really easy just to pick up and leave and go try your hand somewhere else. He stuck it out, stayed here, and that definitely endears him to the fans.
And then, going to Friday night, game number 1, this is the second time this season for LSU to have one of these walk-offs at 1:20 a.m. We might have brought this up last time, but how difficult is it as a player to stay locked in when you're supposed to have first pitch at 6:30? It ends up getting pushed back to 10 p.m., and you're having to play games past midnight because LSU seems to play even better when the clock strikes midnight.
Yeah, it's difficult. Obviously you're around. If you're at the field all day, it kind of gets stale and bored, and you're hanging out, and you just don't want to get too stiff or too lackadaisical.
Yeah.
And obviously when you're at home, it's a little bit easier to do than when you're on the road because you have your own clubhouse, you have the familiarity around it, you have the ping pong, you have things you can do to kind of keep yourself active. And once the game starts at that point, it doesn't really matter. The adrenaline's running, and it doesn't really matter if it's 9:55 or 6:55. Once the game starts, obviously getting to that point is the more difficult part. And I think you credit to the guys on the team and the leadership you have on the team of these guys staying ready no matter when the game starts and able to. And look, when you play these last few times they played these games, it hasn't been where they got off to this huge lead and it just kind of coasted. It's been a nut cutter, and it's been, every pitch matters, and they've ended up winning it in their last at bat. So kudos to the guys on the team, and kudos to the leadership around those guys to keep them locked in and ready to go.
And it feels inevitable this will probably happen in the postseason if LSU's able to host, where just the way that this year's gone, that this might happen again in a big spot. When it is like this and it ends up becoming like a bit of a theme, it's like playing football in the rain, right? Like, it's fun if you make it fun. And it feels like for LSU, when it starts to get these 10 o'clock first pitches, is that something that you kind of like in the locker room, like, all right, let's do it again? Like after a Tennessee game where you win it the way that you do, like it almost becomes fun because it becomes your arena a little bit.
Yeah, you lean into it.
Yeah.
It's like, you find ways to create an advantage, right? Like, hey, we've done this already. We're really good at this. All right, this is, we got them right where we want them type stuff, right? Like you absolutely lean into those situations. You absolutely put yourself in you try to find the most advantageous part of, some adversity. And, fortunate for LSU, they've been able to do this a few times this year, and they've been able to win against probably the two best opponents they've played all year, two of the better opponents they've played all year. And yeah, you absolutely lean into that, and you put that as a advantage. Hey, when the longer the game goes on, or the longer the delay happens, the more advantage that we're at, because we've done it a lot this year.
It's I touched on it a little bit, but after LSU takes 2 of 3 from Arkansas, who was, I believe, the number 1 team in the country, if I'm not mistaken.
Not this year.
Was it Texas?
No, remember they swept Texas, and Texas didn't move.
Oh, of course.
Arkansas was 7. That was weird, huh?
Yeah, I don't know where I saw they were 1. Regardless, LSU takes 2 of 3 from a top 10 team in the country.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right.
When do you see the SEC wins continue to go up as they are 17-10? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see a hosting position or a national seed ranking? What is your inclination, and where are you leaning for LSU?
Yeah, I think we've talked about this quite a bit. I think 19 is the magic number.
Paul.
And I think a lot of people were talking about getting to 19. You had to go 4-2 over the last 6 games of the season to get to that number. Obviously winning at home against Arkansas, that gives you a good, some cushion. You don't ever, no matter how bad, you saw it with this weekend in Missouri. Missouri just swept A&M, right? Like you don't want to rely, no matter how bad or good the team is, you don't want to have to rely on a sweep at the end of the year to get to where you need to be. And so winning the series this weekend put you in a position to go out there and just take care of business on the road, win the series, and get to 19 wins. I think 19 wins gets you a national seed. I think 18 is you're obviously in a conversation. I think that gets you one as well. But the optics of losing the series on the road at South Carolina may not help. But LSU is the number 1 team in the country this year, this weekend. And, I think that if they go and they get 18, 19 wins, they lock it up. 19 for sure. 20 wins probably that may put you at number 2 in the SEC. And, top 4 teams in the SEC usually are going to get top national seeds.
Oh, breaking news real quick. Rankings just came out. There's a new number 1 team in the country.
I think I did what you said.
Did you say that?
Yeah, you just said that.
Oh, nice. I was reading the chat. Double breaking news.
You're welcome.
Breaking here. I'll put it on the ticker.
Now I know how much you pay attention to.
I like to interact with the people. I thought Saber Green was breaking news. Not his real name, by the way. I thought it was.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
It's a screen name?
Uh-huh.
That's crazy. I thought that was his
Hey, let's talk about this. We talked about the pitching staff. We talked about the 2 starters. Let's talk about the reemergence of Chase Shores. Last 3 times he's been out.
Shuffle it again.
The last three outings have been really good. And I think his best outing was this past weekend.
Yeah.
He's locating his slider. Now he's throwing his slider where he wants it, when he wants it. And, he's been really, really good. And the reemergence of him and him, pitching to the way he's capable of pitching, I think that is a huge addition to LSU going into the postseason.
Yeah, and that kind of leads into the question I was going to ask. I mean, with Case and Evans, the last 2 weekends hasn't, extended deeper into games like he did that first start against Tennessee. Does that spark up conversation of changing things once again now that Shores is kind of pitching better and Evans isn't kind of going as far into games when he's starting? Does Jay tinker with it again, or do you just kind of hold the rope and get through to postseason play?
Yeah, look, I don't think Jay every weekend puts down Casey Evans as a third starter.
Yeah.
Right. I think he had talked about it a lot during the week that if they're in a position to win Saturday's game and they needed to use him, they were going to use him, and they're going to figure out Sunday. And I think you're going to continue to see that throughout the rest of the last series of the year in the postseason. You're going to see them try to win the series, so to speak, win the first two games, and then figure out game three. And if they have to use Casey Evans, they're going to use him. If not, they're going to potentially start him. I don't know if you see somebody else emerge. I don't know if you see them put Chase Shores back in there, because Chase has been good over the last few weeks, but he hasn't been in the starting rotation. So I don't know if you want to mess with that. This just feels a little bit like 2023 with Thatcher, right? Thatcher started, wasn't good, took Thatcher out to the rotation, put him in the bullpen, was really good in the bullpen, and then ended up putting him back in the rotation as a postseason play, and he was really good during then. So you could see the same thing with Chase Shores. I wouldn't be shocked. I think Chase has more starting experience, and Casey Evans was one of the best relievers in the country when he was coming out, and he was only asked to go 3, 4, 5, not start. But look, his first career start, he won 6 innings, gave up 2 runs, right? And so he showed you that he's able to do that. Now, the last 2 outings have not been good. I think he went 3 1/3 and 3 2/3. This one was probably his worst out of the 3. He gave up 4 runs. The one 2 weeks ago, it was more about walks than hits. But, I think that's something that Jay's going to continue to look at. But I think if he has an opportunity to win, game 1 and 2, he's going to use Casey Evans in those games if he needs to, and then he's going to figure out Sunday as it goes.
I was going to ask maybe one more tinker, and he doesn't like to call it tinkering. He calls it managing, which is true. Both can be true at the same time. You have a legitimate starter that you've used out the bullpen the entire year. Would you ever see a world in which Cowan pitches game 3?
And that could be it. Listen, if you have Chase Shores continuing to do what he's doing, then you could see Chase Shores take over the Cowan spot, and Casey Evans go back to his spot, and then you have Cowan start on that Sunday game. I think that that is also a possibility. He's got a lot of starting experience. I don't think it's far-fetched idea, but I think you're going to have a lot of TBA.
Yeah.
Or TBD on Sundays. Game 3 is moving on from here. But, Cowan would not be a bad idea. It wouldn't be a bad situation for him to go out there and get a start.
At what point is does it matter if you're starting or relieving? Like, it feels like everybody's always searching for you have to have a game 3 starter. It'd be nice to put this guy to start the game. If you're winning in this fashion, what's the thing that we've said for as long as we've done shows? It's win 2 out of 3. But it feels like people are always certain, well, maybe you can put him here. And it's like, well, at what point?
True, but you haven't won the last 2 Sundays, right? And so there's going to be a point where you're going to have to win that 3rd game. And, when does a starter matter? Yeah, you want to win the series. The starter matters whenever you can kind of get through 5 innings and keep you in the game, right? LSU, even the last 2 weekends, and they haven't been playing great, or they haven't played great on Sundays, started great. You've been in the game. You had an opportunity to win both games these last 2 Sundays. You didn't do it, but you had an opportunity to win it. And the starting pitching wasn't what you expected it to be. So, when it matters whenever you can go 5 and you look up and you're like, damn, okay, we've got one guy to get us through that first 5 innings, and now we can kind of piece it together for the next 4 instead of having to piece together for 7.
One of the names that's come up a lot the last couple of weeks as he's been taken off the injury reports, Devin Sheeran, the big transfer that had the ACL.
Who put that out there?
Is that going to be, they wanted, it really felt like that Grambling game that got canceled was going to be the night to get him out there, see if you could get some work.
It was going to be Sheeran and Guidry.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah. Listen, I still think that he is going to throw, but he hasn't. So, 3 weeks ago, it really felt like he was ready.
Yeah.
And based off of what I was hearing, not even from the staff, just from around the program, and, he hasn't thrown yet. And I don't know if that's because maybe his arm's sore or something happened or whatever it is. But, if you don't see him this weekend,
or
like,
SEC,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, when you feel comfortable throwing him in a game, maybe first game of the regional that you're hosting. Like, I don't know. But if he's going to throw, I'd imagine you're going to see him at least in one of the games this weekend.
Last one I've got is the lineup. We talked about it last Monday against A&M. There were 3 different lineups, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And it seems like Jay kind of reverted back to the lineup that kind of got it all started for LSU this year, with Curiel leading off and everything else kind of fell in line. What were your thoughts on Jay going back to that and how it looked this weekend?
I think it was pretty expected. I think everybody likes to look at things and freak out. LSU wasn't scoring any runs. It was just hey, let's try something different, and let's see if we can't get a spark and do something. And it didn't feel like that was a lineup that was going to be the lineup from here on out. Like, it was just, hey, this was happening this weekend. I'm going to manage the weekend the way I see it playing out, and let me just figure it out. And so them going back to the normal lineup that we've seen has. That was pretty expected, and it was nice to see those guys. It was nice to see Curiel get a couple big hits. It was nice to see Jared Jones get a couple big hits. Obviously, both those guys probably still aren't feeling as good as they want to feel right now. It was nice to see Milam hit a homer, get a couple hits. You want to see him to start get going. Like I said, I've said this before. If I was going to make an adjustment on lineups and tinkers with things, I would have liked to see Milam get moved up in the lineup at the top half and maybe give him some cushion and give him some help and get him going. Obviously, it didn't happen. Look, big homer yesterday, had 2 hits yesterday, and so hopefully that kind of gets him going and can get him back into form like he was last year. But look, that was his 10th home run of the season. I mean, you got a lot of games left. You got a lot of postseason. If you can do even half of what he did last year in the postseason, he's going to end up with 14, 15 home runs this year.
So you saw our guy, Jay, get the heap ho again. What do you think of, I guess?
God, what a soft ejection.
Okay, thank you. So I was kind of going with it. If, as a man, which you are, if somebody says you flinch, is that warrant to get ejected? Like, it is insulting.
Big dog.
Big dog.
It's an ump show.
Yeah.
It's an ump show. It is. And usually when you throw somebody out because of, honestly, I don't think that's not warranted to get thrown out. I think when you get thrown out, when you throw someone out, yeah, it's like, damn, he's right. Mm-hmm. But I can't back down. And so now I'm going to toss him for no reason. And it just looked at that point, it was like, Jay was like so dejected. He was like, hey, dude, you're not even worth my time to go out there and yell at you because you're so bad at what you've been doing. I'm just going to take this and I'm going to go inside. I'm just going to go on the walkie-talkie and still coach from the dugout, from the locker room. I don't know if that's what he did, but I imagine, he's got some input on what's happening. And, yeah, man, it's the umpires have been an issue all year. It's not even them being bad or missing calls. It's the inconsistency. It's the not feeling like they understand what they're trying to do. I can get on board with a guy that goes and he is expanding the zone one way, but if he's doing that the entire game for both sides and that's his strike zone, I can deal with it. So ones that expand and they don't call a strike, that's a strike, and they call balls that are strikes, and then they start flip-flopping and the game gets tighter and the asshole gets tighter and you're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what. The crowd starts yelling, you start panicking, and you start flinching and not calling strikes, and that's when it gets to be a problem. And Jay's seen it too much, and he went out and he called him out, and the guy didn't like him getting called out because he knew he was right.
Yeah, no, I mean, it really is like the ace of spades. Like, he just the throw out. Oh, you got me? I'm just going to throw this out there.
Clear the deck.
Yeah,
it's just You know what? You're right. You're gone. You're out of here.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. I don't want to hear you anymore.
It's like when you're a kid and you argue with your parents, and it becomes, well, I'm the parent, so this is how it's going to go. It's like, well, you're wrong. It's like, well, no, you're punished. Divorce.
It's because I said so, Lloyd.
It's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's because I said so.
Yeah, that's when you know you got it. Like, damn, I got you.
Yeah. All right,
But
fine.
I
I will
can't
go to my
anything
go to my room.
I'm 12. Yeah.
Steal the car.
Can't do anything.
That was just you, Lloyd.
Yeah. Well, but you did talk about the offensive lineup, and would you color this as a negative or a positive? When you win 2 out of 3, take a series against Arkansas, and in that series, Bear Jones is 2 for 13 with 6, 7, 8 strikeouts.
Consider that a positive.
Me too.
You know, I think if you can win when your best player and your best guy in the lineup isn't locked in, I think that it's a really good thing. You know, and I think Curriel had a couple timely hits. You had obviously Fry was swinging the bat really well. Dickinson's been steady Eddie. You know, I think that we're on the verge of seeing a little bit of a hot streak of homers for Dickinson. He hadn't hit one in a while. You know, and he went through a stretch in the middle of the year where I think he had 4 or 5. Pretty pretty short amount of time. So, I'd imagine it's only a matter of time before he starts hitting for more pop. You had guys around. You'd rather see the whole lineup produce as a whole than just one guy. And the fact that one guy didn't have a great series and everybody else, you're able to score runs and win 2 out of 3 against a really good team, I think that shows a lot.
Yeah, well, we appreciate your time, as always. Good stuff, and best of luck tonight with Mic'd Up as you get your guy back.
Appreciate you. Hey, Lloyd, listen, you almost got Wally Pitt, dude. Christian almost –
If I had a nickel for every time I've heard that, and yet here I continue to be.
Hey, this is the first time you left us high and dry, and we were able to have 2 shows without you.
I got possibly to fill in for one, and then Christian stepped up, and it seems
Christian had so much fun. He wanted to do it twice.
Yeah, that good, because the first time went so well.
I think that was the thing. He was motivated. He had extra motivation.
Yeah, no, he called
after the Monday show.
He called me after Monday. He was like, "Look," he was like, "Can I do Wednesday?" I was like, "Dude, if you want it, go do it."
I think look, and we almost got there. We had everything. We just the volume. Yeah. We got so close. We got to the 2-yard line, and then we went for it on 4th down, and we couldn't get it.
But he got back on the practice field.
We figured it out. We had a great 2-point conversion play, and we executed that one over Wednesday. And look, we had a double Zoom on Friday. We're gone.
Yeah, I hopped in there. I had to make sure my my seed was doing okay, and then it's like each one to be on the show, and I was like, sure. So got to do it from the streets of London. It was excellent.
That's it.
Zoom works across the world. We tested it.
Oh, across the world. It's an amazing thing. But boys, I appreciate y'all as always. Fridays are great. You start Mondays. Not Fridays are great.
It feels like Friday.
Better whenever I come on the show. It starts my week off. Great. So appreciate y'all.
Yep.
And we'll see y'all tonight. Lloyd, I'll see you tonight.
That's right.
And whoever's watching this show, y'all tune in to Mic'd Up tonight, 6 to 8.
Sabrion, that is his real name. We found out. And he's a big Mic'd Up guy.
Okay, so now it is a real name.
Yeah, and then we'll have our guy Randy Jones.
Yes.
Hey,
Randy.
Guy has some swag this weekend.
Yeah, I'm about to pull up the picture whenever just to give him a shout out because it's unbelievable. Legends.
Great. Remember, popped out of nowhere. Had some really good, really cool looking sunglasses too.
Yeah,
he looked good. Fashion icon.
That's awesome.
That's right.
Well, we appreciate you as always. And we'll talk again soon.
All right, boys.
Yep. There he is. Mikey Mahtook as my producer's on his phone.
Wow, no, I'm trying to get the picture pulled up. I'm emailing myself.
That's awesome. Mikey just we could have just left Mikey up there. But great stuff from Mikey as always as he gives the insight from his mind what happened this weekend. I'm so glad he kind of took it and ran with it and he brought up the umpire.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, that's soft.
Soft.
didn't even let you finish the question.
Yeah, Mikey's got some hilarious stories with umpires from back when he played. Whenever I think he was batting like 176 at one point in his career, and there was a ball that bounced in for a strike, and he looked back, he's like, where was that? And he's like, you don't get to say anything batting 176. And he goes, oh, why would you say that?
Rude. Ouch.
Like, I know I'm batting 176.
Trust me, I'm looking at it on the scoreboard right now.
It's like, man, insulted me. He had no
feelings.
choice. Yeah. Because, of course, I struck out.
Gosh. Yeah, of course.
So that's all I could think about.
That's awesome. But you're getting that picture pulled up. We're going to take a quick break. And we'll take a quick break here, and we'll come back, and we'll close out our number 2 here on what is technically Tingle and Co. No longer the Jordy Culotta, even though we're still on the channel, finishing out the month of May. We'll close it out here, and we will be back to finish off our number 2.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Click Here Digital, the home of the Jordy Culotta Show. Online at clickheredigital.com. If you're looking to set Google ads, set social media campaigns, learn about SEO, display video, or even creative, Click Here Digital has the answer for you. Online at clickheredigital.com or email me directly, Jordy at clickheredigital.com.
Family calls family. That saying resonates even more as your family grows. And we can't seem to stop growing. Meet the newest member of the Get Gordon family, Penny's cousin Rosie. Rosie already knows, the larger your family, the more people you have to lift you up during trying times. Just like at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, we've grown to over 200 team members with over 50 local attorneys. So whether you pick Penny, employ Ellie, roll with Rosie, or get Gordon, we want to be your lawyers for life.
Your lawyers for life.
Phil's Oyster Bar, a staple of South Louisiana since 1945, located in Southdown Shopping Center and online at philsoysterbar.com. If you log online, you can learn about the private party schedule, the catering menu, and even order online. Daily lunch specials Monday through Friday. Learn about the history when Gus Piazza took it over in the early 70s, made it an absolute stop-in for everyone who came through Baton Rouge, and now Anthony, his son, carrying on the tradition. Phil's Oyster Bar, Southdown Shopping Center, and online, philsoysterbar.com.
It's rare to find someone you can count on when it's go time. It's even more rare to find someone you can count on, well, all the time. At Sunshine, we're proud to offer the John Deere equipment you need and the team can depend on and off the field. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Hey, Chino. Cut my headphones up, bro. Yeah, right there. Now I'm focused on getting deposits. Evil in the way, now I'm just driving around it. They said I needed soul searching, I already found it. I unlocked my other side, now I'm sounding astounded. Drive by and let it ride like I'm whipping a Tesla. Pressure never fazed me, cause I'm bigger than pressure. I'm on my grind, bullshit, can't fit in my schedule. I'ma do what's best for me, you can keep all your lectures. Spend the summer stacking bread, might be gone to November. Pulling up like Trey Young just to freeze up December. I got niggas on the block like traditional sinners. OGs love me, so I hang with traditional winners. I took a break for a minute, I had to go charge up.
Awesome. That might be the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like, he just went out and had this shirt put together.
Made. Because I haven't seen the Mic'd Up logo on any merch since we first started the show.
Right.
And this guy, Randy, is able to make a T-shirt out of the blue, so I need to have a conversation with Mikey. Also, the back's fire, too.
Yeah, the back is great, but I'd say the front with the logos and the time, the time spent, little 2022 to forever. What's on the, it's all the number 8s. Wow. That's pretty cool. Mikey. Is that Mason Katz?
You got Mikey, Katz.
Bregman, Fraley. Is that Cole Freeman? Antoine Duplantis. Daniel Carrera. And then, Matthew Beck.
Yes.
Before Dugas and Travinsky. How about that? And then this year was Gavin Guidry. Didn't get to see him out there, but he'll be back. Look who slid into the chat this morning. One little Christian Cowley.
Yeah, we were having a discussion. We were just
talking.
Somebody's ears were burning because we're trying to figure out what the hell he's doing over the summer.
Yeah, we were trying to I know he's got some type of job that he gets actually paid for.
Oh.
And that's kind of where we kind of lose our, because we just keep him here as hostage.
Basically.
But he,
it's like old school college football.
He said for anything, in the evening we do watch parties or whatever.
All the fun stuff.
Here. Yeah, the fun stuff, the actual not work, he can come back and do. But yeah, we're trying to figure out, he's kind of left us high and dry. The Rally Time podcast is produced and co-hosted by Christian, and poor Justin's texted me last week, what are we going to do? I don't know, we're going to have to figure that out.
I'll pinch it if I'm needed. Yeah, my number's called, pick me one or Bobby.
We'll get that figured out. See what we can do to keep Justin rolling. As he was at the game Saturday, went to the presser after. He was out there.
You think he fell asleep?
Working hard. No, but he said Friday night he got real tired. But he wasn't at the game Friday night. He was at home.
Oh, okay,
good. He said he got real tired, though. He told me on Sunday at church on Sunday. So he was getting real tired on Friday.
He can't fall asleep during a presser.
Oh, my gosh, no.
Because if him saying he's real tired is falling asleep. I've seen it happen.
I love him. He's cracks me up.
I wasn't sleeping. No, brother, you were snoring. Oh, just a little bit.
I was so funny.
Hit us with the oldest man excuse ever. I was resting my eyes.
It was hilarious. It was so funny.
But check out the Rally Top podcast because it is
he
great
does do
content.
a great job.
Yeah,
he really does. He does do an excellent job, and he's got a Facebook group of his own now that he does post-game shows on.
He went live.
Yeah, he goes live after every baseball game, post-game show. He has since the Auburn series, I believe. He's done post-game shows.
Look at us, just fostering content.
Creating a host.
Yeah, we
have
had eggs, they hatch, and we see where they go. Yep. Some fly, some fall out the nest and come back. Some get kicked out the nest.
Yeah, there's been a lot of eggs that have hatched over the years. But that's how the new era begins at Tingle and Co. And hopefully a lot of these eggs hatch and stick around.
They fly and come back with food.
Because we got quite the team. I don't know if you saw, I put the group chat together with the whole squad.
I did.
It's quite the team. Quite the team that we're putting together over at Tingle and Co. It was funny. I was on that phone interview, and he shouted out the show with the new name. He didn't say the host of the Culotta show. He said host of Tingle and Company. And I was like, well, it's not exactly the name. It's not Tingle and Company. It's Tingle and Co. It's like, now if you want to think of it as company, you can. Mm-hmm. So, but it's also Courtney. And I was going to say Cowley, but he's gone now. So
right.
It's mostly just Tingle and Courtney. So.
Yeah, it's a
we
double
have
entendre.
No longer the bunker. P-Dubs calls it the Ting Pins.
Oh, I like that.
Which I thought was excellent.
Okay.
It's such a good name. We were begging for a show name, and we ended up getting
of course, the chat name. Self-serving.
Yeah, the Ting Pins.
The Ting Pins.
Of course, self-serving. That's excellent. But speaking of excellent, the news on Saturday. What was the reaction in London to the Derek Carr retiring?
They didn't give a shit. They don't even have sports. They have soccer. And it's impossible to watch there. But I did realize it's like the first thing I said to my brother whenever we touched down, and I was probably on the ground for 5 seconds and walking to the airport. I was like, oh, they don't have ESPN here. Why do they give a fuck? They don't care about American sports at all. No Sports Center, no ESPN, just the news. All it is the news. They couldn't stop talking. All the news was the Pope.
Yeah, all
about the Pope, and he got elected or whatever. A Chicago man. He's a White Sox fan.
He is a White Sox fan.
But it's funny to have, that was all their age. They were watching it.
It is funny to have an American, because now videos are coming out of him at White Sox games.
Yeah, he was at a World Series.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's one of us.
Really, truly.
But yeah, so that was on. If you want to watch soccer, it's blacked out. You have to go to a pub to be able to watch soccer. Arsenal was playing. I think they lost.
That's Christian's team.
Yeah, they were devastated. And then the Queen, one of them was coming in town, so that was a big deal. And I don't get it, but that happened, and they had the changing of the guard. There's people in the funny hats.
Yeah.
And then they had the beef eaters. They were all out and about.
The beef eaters?
Yeah, so like the gin beef eater.
Uh-huh.
That's one became before a chicken and egg situation.
Okay.
But they're like, there's like 30 of them in the world,
Nice.
apparently. And it's like if you did so many years of service and then you were exemplary in your service, you get to just essentially retire.
Nice.
But work and you wear a goofy little outfit and pantaloons and walk around and everybody loves you, I guess. But
Yeah.
beef eater to me sounds like either a really big compliment or a super insult.
Yeah, I think it's an insult.
They called him the beef eater in high school.
Loser. How did your but the parents enjoyed their trip?
Yes.
They had a good time?
Yeah,
That's
of course,
good.
sure.
That's good.
I
That's
mean,
all that matters.
I got one trinket.
I know. I was waiting to see. I was.
We made our own gin.
Oh, how was that?
Awesome.
I'm sure yours was great, huh?
It was. A good time.
I know. I kept seeing your mom post, and she put pictures of Sean on there. It was never a picture of Lloyd.
No.
I keep swiping the Instagram post. No Lloyd. I saw Sean twice. I didn't see Lloyd at all.
She was, do you want to take it? Like, do you want any pictures? I was like, I'm taking them with my mind.
Memories.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's memories.
That's what it's all about. But
yeah, that was it.
Christian asked if you saw Meghan Markle.
No.
No, Christian. Did you see Christian post the picture of him holding flowers in the car? And then he commented underneath. Did you see what he said? He said, "Hey, K Adams, you didn't see this."
He's going to get it flying close to the sun.
Yeah, he is. You got to be careful.
I thought he actually did get in trouble for the show.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know if that was like, oh, here we go. Like,
some apology flowers?
Yeah. If he just got himself in trouble, but
no, he didn't. He said those were just cuz flowers.
Just cuz. Good. That's how it usually is.
Good job. Good job, Christian. We're teaching you well.
You're in traffic.
But like we said, we'll have Nick Underhill join us on Wednesday to get more into the Derek Carr situation.
Man.
But it was good news, ultimately, as the saga has finally come to an end.
Ultimate heel turn, huh?
Yeah.
For as much maligned as
he
Derek
kind of
Carr
righted
was.
the ship a little bit on his way out.
Yeah, it's saving you, what, $50 million next year?
Yeah, I think he adds about $30 million into the cap space. So
the best thing was that even on his way out, even after trying to, I guess, help New Orleans in whatever way possible,
right?
There's still nothing you can do.
No,
people are like,
still, yeah,
you're not retired, you're quitting because nobody wants you.
Literally,
it's not retirement.
It was way too far gone at that point. Now, from my standpoint, I appreciate it. Like, the way he handled it, I think that's much better than I probably would have expected. As he, you hate to see anybody medically retire.
He wanted to play,
sucks.
right?
Yeah, like medically retiring sucks, regardless of who the person is.
But do you think if he had offers to play somewhere else, he would? Do you think, or
Maybe.
do you think the market?
I don't know. It just, I guess, like to me at this point now, the injury must be pretty serious if this is the point he's getting to, anyways. But I do see the standpoint of maybe he just
hang it up.
Wants me, I'm just gonna hang it up.
Yeah, this isn't fun anymore.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get out of here and try to win New Orleans back over. Didn't exactly, but he does help the Saints out, and it's going to be nice to have a new era kind of begin for the Saints, regardless of who the guy is. It's just going to be nice that you're kind of out of this rut.
Yeah. Would you have been more excited if the Saints hadn't drafted a quarterback and then this news happened, where you'd be like, you can go?
Yeah. Well, it would seem like there's more in front of you. It's more open.
Like you'll stink.
Yeah, which I still think is very much the play. I think they're going to stink, and they're still going to draft the quarterback with a top 5 pick next year. But it just kind of sucks that you used a second-round 40th pick. Now, it could be great if he ends up working out.
Right.
I could change my tune a whole lot in September. But I probably would have been a tad bit more excited had the focus truly been on the 2026 draft rather than 2025. So... But all in all, it's just nice to finally be out of that era. Like, if you officially have wiped your hands of Dennis Allen and Derek Carr and that kind of time in New Orleans Saints football, you just wish Mickey would be on the way out as well. But I don't foresee that occurring anytime soon. So
I don't believe Kirk Cousins is a free agent, isn't he? Still,
he's still in the Falcons.
He signed a big deal with the Falcons.
He did. I don't think he's. Now, Aaron Rodgers is still a free agent. I've seen that name pop up. But I think they're going all in with Shuck. I think Shuck is going to be the starter. And he's doing all the right things, like on social media and in his interviews. He brought up the potholes, the flat tires, the humidity, and he had the char-grilled oysters at Drago's, the whole deal. Like he's doing the right things. He posted an Instagram post. He got Lil Wayne on it.
I saw that.
The draft post had Boosie on it. Like he's doing he's obviously getting some really good advice from somewhere. And so whoever's giving Shuck the advice, good job. Because y'all are nailing it. Because he's doing a really good job at ingratiating himself in New Orleans and winning people over. But it's still going to come down to
football,
the play on the field. Like, I mean, you can do so many things right in the offseason. It comes down to what you do when you're on the field. But like we said, Nick Underhill will join us on Wednesday like he always does and give us the full breakdown on what it's going to look like for the Saints now that Derek Carr has retired and they've got their guy in Tyler Shuck, who appears to be who they're going all in on this year, and he's making all the right moves. So we'll see what the future has for the Saints. But it was good news. It was nice to go to sleep to an LSU baseball walk-off win and then wake up to my phone buzzing about Derek Carr's retiring. I walked out of my room, and my dad looked at me, and he was like, did you see the news? And you get that out on Twitter? I was like, come on now. You know I already got that out. You know who you're talking to?
Hello, babe.
You know who you're messing with?
Give him the credentials.
My dad?
Mm-hmm.
I might just have to.
If he's on the ball like this.
Yeah, no, he's on top of it. Dude, when I tell you, he sends me.
He has to love that.
He loves it. Because my dad's a big Le Batard guy.
Uh-huh.
And so he's got the eye for like the Le Batard stuff. And so like he always will catch something, be like, that's going to be a meme. And then he'll send me the Le Batard tweet of it. Like they're on the same
wavelength.
And so he's always on top of stuff like that. And so he loves it. Absolutely. So I might have to give him a press pass at some point. Shout out to old Casey.
Well, I'd imagine if, like, this is the same thing with, like, some of my friends that, like, no, I do this.
Yeah.
And then they'll, like, send you stuff. And you're like, good Lord. Like, thank you. Because, like, we don't catch everything.
Right.
But they do know what is, like, content. And they're like, well, I guess I'll send this and maybe they'll put it on the show.
And
like,
the chat as well. Like, Hunter
Hall
sends me Cordell will send me stuff. And, like, there's been multiple times Cordell has sent me something that's been breaking. And I've been like, oh, shoot, I need to.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I make those group chats with everybody in them. Because, like, Christian was the first way I saw Derek Carr retiring because he woke up and sent it in the group chat with all of us, and I was like, oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Because it helps me out a whole lot because, I mean, there are times that I miss things.
Well, no, then you'll just be chronically online.
Yes. Which when I first started doing the social media, I was.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't miss a single thing.
Just searching hashtag LSU hashtag.
But then I realized you can turn on post notifications. You just turn those on for a few big hits, like Hayes Fawcett, click that on. Turn on a little Wilson Alexander post notice. You're solid.
We're not going to break any news, but I will report
but
on
it. But I'm going to be right after the first guy.
Getting that algorithm.
Yeah, get in there quick. Like AJ Halsey news, Hayes Fawcett broke it. 2 seconds later, I've got it put out. Which you weren't here for the official commitment of Halsey, the Houston safety committing to LSU. You missed out on that news as well.
Oh, I did. Huge get.
Huge get. We'll maybe get into that more. But we had Glenn West join us last Tuesday. Another banger.
Yeah.
Dude's been
Speaking
crushing
of
it.
Like knowing your stuff,
He's
another
been
guy to
crushing
follow.
It. He has been crushing. The past 2 interviews, and I was telling Eads, because Eads came in on Thursday, I was like, last 2 times we've had Glenn West on, he's been like
locked in,
balling, like flexing knowledge on everybody. So, but really good week last week. Glad to have Lloyd back as we are rocking and rolling. But like I said, if you missed it, Tingle and Co. officially underway in June. June 2nd will be the first Monday of Tingle and Co. We do have some meetings about if we'll stay in this studio or not. We'll see what it looks like, but the content will be the same, and there will be some even more fun. So make sure you subscribe and follow. Since I put the link in the chat, the subscriber count has gone up by 8.
There we go.
8 new subscribers just in that span. So make sure you subscribe, follow on everything. Tingle and Co. on YouTube. It's at Tingle __ Co. on social media. So make sure you join us on this next ride that we're very much excited about. We appreciate you guys, and we'll get to a little athletic connections here, and we'll close it out here on this Monday. Good first day. So we'll get throughout the rest of the week. We'll see if we can get some guests in here. Appreciate all the followers on Instagram. We've been getting in the algorithm a good bit, and we've got some blue checks from the LSU following us on Instagram, which is always a good thing. So we appreciate you guys and all the support. Make sure while you're following and subscribing, you share, you get the word out. Make sure everybody knows where to find us come June 1st when we get the new show starting, rocking and rolling. Matthew Conkle, I've been stapling flyers of the new logo to every telephone pole in town. That's the type of commitment we want.
That's what we need.
That's what we love from the
put my
Kingpins.
phone number under it. You know, call in like a band tryout.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. We do have people that are reaching out about trying out, wanting to be part of the squad. So Hunter Hall goes under a minute for the Athletic Connections. That's gives me some confidence. No offense, Hunter. I feel good. Me and Christian knocked him out last week.
Really?
By ourselves. Yeah. We did. We had John Eads in for 2 of them, so that helped out.
They did say
Big
that.
Eads.
I mean, it was fun. So I was like, "This is what my 3rd grader plays."
They did say kindergarten classes put this on the big screen.
But
that's
great
okay.
teaching. If I were a teacher,
right?
This is something I would do.
Randy Jones, appreciate that, P-Dub. Where did you see the shirt? Randy, you know where they saw the shirt? We put it on the screen, buddy.
Yeah, you're the star of the show.
You're the star of the show this morning. We saw the work you put in on that shirt, and we had to give you your flowers because it was excellent, my friend. Uncle Randy. Matthew Carr window stickers comes. Oh, we're going to have all the stuff. Look at that shirt. Look at the lettuce. Look at that hair.
Yeah, Randy's
Looks
a baller.
Excellent. Looks excellent.
Mikey was sad I couldn't make it to the tailgate, but I was, on the bird. Traveled all day.
Yep. Hey, you're back now.
Back now. Still tired.
Yeah, I can imagine. Kind of adjusting back to the normal timings here. What did who said? Somebody said. Oh, Andrew Messina, Tingle and Co. /Mic'd Up should spend the week at Hoover, host the shows from there. We'll see what we can do. Maybe we'll throw some stuff together. But
there is talks. Certainly for
conversations.
Yeah, for the baseball centric show that tends to go on around this time of year, where we've done Hoover before.
Yep.
Might have to do it again.
Well, and the Tingle and Co. timing kind of lines up great with postseason baseball. We slide on over. We begin in June.
Give me a reason to go to Hoover. I'll go to Hoover.
Yeah, of course.
Go see some SEC ball and
turn around into some regional, super regional play.
That's going to be exciting.
In the box.
But only the possibility of only having one game does stink. It used to be double elimination, so there was a reason to really make a concerted effort to go. But if you go down there just for one game, because I don't know, obviously in 2023, I feel like LSU didn't care about the tournament at all. It was go throw, get some work in.
But then
lose,
last year, needed it.
Yeah. And I feel like this year you do want to put on somewhat of you don't want to lose the first game and go home.
Especially, it also depends on what next weekend looks like.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. It's so funny that it's
Paul. If
Paul.
you lose the series to Paul and the Gamecocks.
This could be as low
Paul
as they
and
are.
the Cocks.
Paul and the Cocks. In the box, not away.
Psych.
But it is interesting that it's him because he's going to, I would imagine, this is a way to kind of at least put a cherry on this shit bag.
Yeah.
For him. This is not a delicious dessert of a year.
Ugly weekend this past. Did you see the score of Friday night or Thursday? South Carolina versus Auburn? 24-2 through 7. Auburn put a 24 spot up on the Gamecocks.
Good Lord.
It was unbelievable. He hit a grand slam. They scored 24 in 5 innings.
It's impressive.
Hit a grand slam in the bottom of the 5th to go up 24-1.
And like we said, you saw Mizzou sweep Texas A&M.
It's unbelievable.
Texas A&M, that's the last thing that they needed.
Baseball.
So take no one lightly.
Nope.
Not even this Athletic Connections.
Let's go. Regardless of what Hunter Hall says.
This doesn't count towards our time.
Nope. All right.
Record cash, money.
Layup, dunk, 3-pointer, free throw.
Oh, God, that would have been awful if that didn't count.
That would have really sucked. Let's see.
A huddle, a neutral zone.
Center ice.
Oh, then it'll be...
Oh, no, huddle.
There's some hockey terms. Crease.
Yep.
Penalty box. Center ice. They have a neutral zone in hockey?
I have no idea.
They don't have a huddle, do they? They don't have a serve.
I don't think so.
You going to give a neutral zone a go?
Trying to see. Because I feel like racked pool balls
well,
is
Cora,
a starting
Council,
place.
AJ Hinch,
Uh-huh.
Cash. These are all baseball managers.
Okay.
And
and
Cora.
Yeah. feel like racked pool balls, center ice, serve.
The crease.
Those are all the start of something.
Oh, so serve, center ice,
racked pool balls, and then the
huddle.
It's like the beginning of. Nope.
Let's go center ice, penalty
Center
box,
ice,
neutral
penalty
zone.
box, crease, neutral zone. Yep. There
Oh,
we go.
serve. We missed serve.
Oh,
what is record? Record. Record? Record.
Record.
Things one breaks.
Oh, you break the huddle.
You
There you go.
break the rack. Rack 'em.
Sarah,
Rack
fair
ball.
enough.
Rack 'em.
We made it to 9 a.m. this morning. Thank you, guys. Lloyd, glad to see you once again. Welcome back.
Go take a nap.
To the U.S. of A. Get
It's
home,
good to be. I do
get your
appreciate
sleep.
America more.
It
Our
did.
fat people that live here. 'Cause
Yes.
it's quite skinny over there.
Did they compliment your teeth ever?
No, got one LSU.
Really?
Only one.
Excellent.
That was so we were on the tour, and I was wearing like my sweater or whatever. And LSU on it. Actually, it was Roback.
Let's go.
And she's
TIGERS.
like, promo code Tigers for 15% off.
20% off.
20% off. Tingle and Co.
Come on.
When she saw it, Sailor Mike, and she's like, "Are you from Louisiana?"
Sure am.
Like, yeah. She's like, "Bye." What was it? Oh, her parents moved from Louisville
crazy.
to Lafayette, and she's like, "I was looking for somebody to talk to that's from America." I was like, "Oh, absolutely." So he did a little UL talk, a little LSU banter.
Yeah.
And then that was
Puffin'
it. But I only
Tigers.
got the one, and I wore like LSU shit almost.
Of course, because you're trying to make that
I was
connection.
trying to get
Yeah.
we set the over under at 3.5.
Well, it's like when I was in Vegas for the LSU.
Well, that's
USC.
American people.
Right. But it was just like even like the people that worked in the shops in Vegas, they were like, "Oh, my daughter." I was like, "Why?
How?"
It's crazy.
I saw one New York Yankees hat. I saw maybe a South Carolina something.
Wow.
And that was it. There's like not a lot of sports regalia over there unless it's a
Interesting.
kit.
Yeah. A soccer kit. A football kit.
Football.
But we'll be back tomorrow morning, 7 to 9, as we finish out the month here on the Culotta Show YouTube channel. We'll be rocking and rolling on Tingle and Co. soon, so make sure you're ready for all of that. Love you guys, and we'll talk soon.
Cheerio. Have a chat. Wanka.
We can never put on the same shoes. I've been giving L's like I know love and I can't lose. For myself, man, I can't lose. For my family, man, I can't lose. I grind hard and I can't lose. I'm stacking days, man, I can't lose. Big stepper, we can never put on the same shoes. I've been giving L's like I know love and I can't lose.